Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to introduce you to Snuffleupagus, my 1997 Toyota Landcruiser. Start up front on this truck. So this is something you see on a lot of Landcruisers. This is the ARB bull bumper with the winch. It has a winch carrier here. Lots of mounts for things. These bumpers are designed to hit kangaroos in Australia, so they're really good for animal strikes, and that's kind of why I chose this bumper. This bumper is actually, I got it second hand, so I got a good deal on it, and with the winch. The winch is a Smittybilt XRC 12,000 pound winch. It's got synthetic line on it. This is an X-Bull synthetic line. Got it on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. The lights are also Amazon specials. I just like that look of the big round lights on them. It's basically a winch carrier and animal strike protector. But I really like the way it looks. These trucks they need this bumper. It just looks good. So that's the bumper I went with, and that's the front of this truck. The headlights, they're stock. They do have LED bulbs in them, and they also have their glass headlights, so they have nice little rock chips. On this truck, the suspension is a factory 4-inch lift spring from another vehicle. So basically, these trucks, if you put it's called a J-spring on these, the J-spring gives you about 4 inches of lift. It is a factory Toyota part with some pretty cheap shocks just to get it in the air. Alright, tires on this truck are the Toyo Open Country ATI 2 tires. I've had pretty good luck with these. I've had them on a couple of trucks. They are not the loudest tire on the road, which is one thing I really enjoy because this truck saves a lot of road time. But they do grip really well off-road. I've had pretty good luck with them in mud, in rocks, and sand, and I've really enjoyed these tires. For tires, you want to pick a tire that suits best what you do most. So if you're driving this every day and then every now and then you go off and do some light camping and nothing crazy, you might want a mild all-terrain, maybe not even as aggressive as this. But if you're going to do a lot of just hardcore off-road or only use it off-road, you might want to go with something more aggressive. But I went with an AT because it's a mixed-use truck. Alright, down low here we have rock sliders. These are actually homemade rock sliders. Me and a buddy of mine got the tube bender out, bent them up, and they're basically square tubing with a round tubing kick out on them. And as you can see back here, I put a kick out, so if you have an obstacle that gets here, it'll actually push you away and protect your door. So these are really cool. I've actually used them a couple of times, not a ton, but they also double as a step, which a lot of people like. Alright, on the passenger side of this vehicle, another thing you see on a lot of Landcruisers is the snorkel. This is I think an eBay knockoff snorkel. This snorkel, a lot of people are, oh, you're gonna go through water that deep? No, not really. This thing would probably float off before that. What this is for is to get cold air in up high that is clean, because normally the air cleaner is right here in the fender. So it looks cool, in my opinion, and it's actually very functional. And it does, if you do cross water, it'll keep you from sucking water into your engine, which is a very handy thing. On the mirror, I have these ditch light brackets by YOTA TEQ. They're very stout. You can mount lights, antennas, whatever you want on this. I have just some LED lights I had laying around on them, and I wired them in so that they are functional. So these things are awesome. They're really great for wheeling at night or driving down a back road. You can see the deer coming at you. So really cool deal. All right, so the next thing on this truck is the 4x4 Labs rear bumper. You can see back here, this bumper is very popular with Landcruisers because it's a high clearance. So you actually have to cut a section of your frame off in order for this bumper to fit. So I cut the rear section of the frame off, and then you mount this bumper up. It has side protection right here, which protects anything, any kind of any rocks or obstacles from smacking you here and taking out your quarter panel, rear quarter panel. It has an integrated hitch. It's not rated for towing. This is pretty stout, hard to open. It can be adjusted, but I like it tight just to make sure it doesn't come open on its own, because that's the only thing holding this bumper from coming open. But it does have a spare tire carrier. Right now, it's all I have is the spare tire carrier. But this bumper is mostly about protection. I've bumped it. You can actually see I got a nick down here that I came down and I smacked a rock right there. Bumper, it took a hit on the coating, but the bumper is fine. And that's really what these are for. One of my favorite things about this truck is it has a 2-piece rear hatch that becomes a tailgate. Who doesn't love a tailgate? So now in the back of this truck, I do keep a few things. The stuff right here is stuff that I plan on putting on it pretty soon. I have some cheap lights to make into rock lights. I have a tie down for my ARB fridge, power for the fridge, and then also the Dobinson caster correction plates that account for the lift that's on the truck. I keep a little small tool roll with some basic tools in it, some recovery gear, some extra fluids, and a chainsaw that I also keep back there. I plan on keeping that probably outside the rig in the future, but I gotta find a mount system for it. But it's very handy. I've used it on the trail before. All right, this is the cockpit of the truck. This is a very basic setup that I have going on. It will probably get revised in the near future, but right now I just have the WITS END useless cubby mount with some ram balls on it to mount accessories, GPS, stuff like that. And then down low, I have the switch panel I'm using. This is a switch panel you don't see very often in the off-road community, or at least I haven't. This is a FENIEX 4200 mini controller, and so it comes on backlit green. When you turn it on, the light gets brighter to show that it is on, and it has some other functions you can do. This is an emergency light flasher switch panel that I have repurposed for this truck to function on the lighting setup. Another thing that I have in this truck that I think a lot of people overlook is a fire extinguisher. This is a marine fire extinguisher. It'll put out just about any kind of fire that you run into. And I've seen rigs burn on the trail. I've seen stuff catch on fire. It happens quick. Not having this can cost you your entire truck and possibly your life. Get one. So this truck is all-wheel drive, which makes it really good in most weather conditions, but one of the things you can do to improve that is to put lockers front and rear in it. This truck, I have installed ARB lockers front and rear. So it's got the compressor switch, the front locker, and the rear locker all on the panel here. And they increase your traction tremendously. This truck is a mountain goat with the lockers on. It will go anywhere. All right guys, thanks for watching this video. This has been the walk around of my 1997 Toyota LANDCRUISER, affectionately known as Snuffleupagus. This is a project vehicle, so it's a little rough around the edges, and there's a lot more things to come as far as fixing this thing up. If you want to see more content like this, like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comments, drop a comment down there, and I'll try to get back to you, and you might actually inspire me to do the next video. I'll see you in that next video.